I was 14. It was an average night, around 9 p.m. Me and my little cousin are at his house. I'm babysitting for the night while my mom and aunt are shopping. My dad and uncle are at the movie theater. So we're sitting there and I was feeling a little strange. Something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it, so I just kept watching TV with my cousin. The feeling wasn't going away, so I got up and walked to the back door to lock it. When I came back through the kitchen, I saw what was causing my weird feeling. In the window, there was a very decrepit and homeless looking man. He was just staring into the window, looking at my cousin. Protective mode turned on. I pretended like I didn't see the guy, and I told my little cousin that we needed to go upstairs because our parents would be home soon, and they wouldn't want him to be staying up late. So I went up the stairs and put him to bed, knowing damn well that there was a man outside that wanted in. I was about 125 and 5'8". At the time, I played football for my school. If I remember correctly, I went down the stairs and straight to the kitchen. I grabbed one of those meat tenderizing hammers, turned back to the window where I saw him before. He wasn't there. Ran back into the front door and checked. It was locked. Both the deadbolt and the knob were locked. I ran back upstairs with the meat tenderizer and went into my cousin's room. I sat down in front of the door. He asked me what I was doing, and I said that he didn't need to worry about it and he should keep his head low. I called the police and then my dad and then my uncle. Cops would take about half an hour, and my dad and uncle were 45 minutes away. Then I hear a window shatter and the sound of heavy boots walking around in the main floor. I told my cousin to stay calm, hide under the covers, and to keep silent. I could hear the guy walking around downstairs. It was horrifying. I gripped that damn meat tenderizer and waited. About 5 minutes pass, and then I hear the boots walking up the stairs. At this point, I was having a freaking heart attack. My cousin's door is no more than 10 feet from the stairs. I heard him opening the door to my aunt and uncle's room, then the bathroom. He walked back down the stairs and I heard him open the door to the basement. 15 minutes later, the police showed up and burst into the house. Turned out, the guy was loose from a mental hospital, 1 province away. I was about 19 years old, and I was working in an after-school care that was ran out of a building of a small church in the rural southern town where I lived. The church was really small, in the shape of an L, with a door at the top of the L, the sanctuary at the elbow of the L, and a door at the short end of the L. There was also a full basement that was furnished and used for the Sunday school rooms, and where the kids from the after-school program did homework and played games sometimes. There were only about 12 or 13 kids at the program. Most of the time, and I think one time, we sold up to something like a whopping 17. Because the church was small and the community was small, there were no aspirations to have a large program, and the entire thing was really just to provide a service to parents in the church. Anyway, what I would do every weekday was attend a community college in the morning and then go straight from classes to the church and work on homework or read until the kids were dropped off by the school bus. I usually had 2 to 2.5 hours, either completely alone in the church or sometimes the pastor would stop by and work in his office, but mostly I was alone. I never heard or saw anything at all, and I was locked inside the building so no one could come in. Even with the kids were at the doors stayed locked for safety. I did this for about a year, and then the second year my best friend at the time came to work with me. She and I were pretty serious kids in the sense that we didn't drink or do drugs. We were not into anything occult or spooky. Just normal young girls who went to college and went to work. One day, not too long after she started working with me, I had the kids in the basement playing games while some of them worked on homework. The deal was that one of us would prepare snacks in the kitchen upstairs while the other entertained the kids. She was upstairs making snacks when all of a sudden I hear the door at the top of the basement stairs open and she comes running down the stairs calling out my name. I could hear the fear in her voice, so I met her at the bottom of the stairs and she's scared. She was not the one to be dramatic at all, and I had never seen her scared before. I had known her since grade 8. I asked her what was wrong and she said in a trembling voice that she heard someone in the sanctuary. I said, "What? No way. We're here by ourselves. It must be your imagination." But she was adamant that she heard someone upstairs in the sanctuary and she was scared to death. Again, I told her she must be mistaken, and she said, "I'm not kidding. There's somebody up there moving around in the sanctuary and I saw something. I don't know what it was." The sanctuary in the elbow of the L shape of the church was right beside the kitchen where she'd been preparing snacks. I was a brave kid and had more bravery than brains at the time. I told her to stay in the basement with the kids and that I was going up to check it out. That scared her as well, and she told me not to go. It was a really stupid thing for me to do, considering that if someone had been up there, I could have been attacked, and I really wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. But anyway, I went up to the top of the stairs and stuck my head out to the door, and first made sure that no one was in the hallway. Next, I checked all of the Sunday school rooms down the long arm of the L, along with the pastor's office. I found nothing, so by this time, I was sure that she just heard the wind, or heard the foundation of the building settle and it spooked her. Next, I checked the bathrooms at the short end of the L and made sure that all the doors to the building were locked. No one had come into the building since we got there, and the doors had been locked when I arrived that day, so I was absolutely sure we were alone. Next, I walked up to the door of the sanctuary and looked through the small window at the top of the door. I saw nothing. There was a row of pews on each side of the sanctuary, a pulpit up front, and on the left side of the pulpit was a closed door that led into the choir area. So I opened one of the doors and walked into the sanctuary and slowly made my way up to about halfway of the pews. I stopped and looked around. Everything was dead silent. I said, "Hello? Is anybody out there? Hello?" And just as I finished saying that, the door to the left-hand side of the pulpit slowly swung all the way open. I can't really put into words the feeling that hit my body. The blood drained out of my torso and into my legs, which both tried to run and were bolted to the floor at the same time. A jolt of adrenaline surged through my body, and at the same time, I felt like everything was moving in slow motion. As I turned and bolted out of the sanctuary and down the stairs, yelling to get the kids out of the building. We got the kids out back and debated what to do. This was the time before cell phones, so one of us still had to go inside and call the pastor to come down, or we all had to stand outside and wait for the parent or someone from the church to come by and check things out, which could be a very long time. I went back inside to the pastor's office and quickly used his cell phone to call his house and ask for someone to come by. When the church was searched, nothing was found, and everyone just thought we just had overactive imaginations.